How we doing, hobby? How are we doing, hobby? I got this new microphone thing. It's called a snowball, like a board. Anyway, happy holidays. No holidays really, but happy hobby Thursday. I want to talk about the rise of non-sports. I was thinking about all the hubbub about sports card content's on a decline, and no one's grading sports cards anymore. And it just seems like negativity, which is funny. I used to be a big fan of it. A lot of negativity. I was thinking about how cool. Like I was looking at my. Here's what got me started. I was looking at my PSA orders, and I think I've graded more non-sports card this year than sports cards. A lot of that had to do with Gary V. Gary V stuff. I started getting into that. Man, I graded probably maybe up to 100 cards, and then Pokemon. I graded Pokemon, and then Marvel. I had Marvel cards being graded. DC Comics getting graded, or DC cards, Superman, Peanuts, right? I keep pulling this box. I'll tell you, this is a very good box. It's a very sturdy box. I want to get another box of this just to have it. It's not a valuable product, but it is a great product for kids. I cannot explain to you. It's basically play packs. I mean, they're not packs of cards. These are play packs, stickers, tattoos, scratch and sniff, pop-up characters, really cool stuff. The other one, look at this right here. This is my other, the historical stuff. Someone put a piece of wood in a card, and it's special wood, man. This isn't just any wood. This is special wood. John Adams wood. Check this out. The Bill of Rights rookie card. I giggle just saying that. My favorite, the OG Ox. These are cards I'm just ready to submit. Here's a Thanos black. Not that it's numbered to 10 because this is on DC. This is old Marvel, not Marvel. What's it called? Upper Deck. What else do I have in here? A bunch of stuff. Oh, what got me started on this though too? I really, really want to open the Invincible product. I've been talking about this since I saw it at the National. I saw a box of it. I asked the guy about it. He said somebody's going around handing out promo boxes, and I couldn't find that person. And then I looked online, and I saw that San Diego Comic-Con did a big drop of the product, and it was going everywhere. And I watched some box openings of it. The product looks so much fun to rip. Again, if you like the Invincible show, you're going to love the product. I finally ordered a few boxes online because I couldn't find it anywhere else. I even went to Blowout here in the DC area. Blowout is part of Blowout. You guys know blowout.com. The store is actually called the Fantastic Store, but they did not have it either. And the guy even told me that they currently do not sell at the retail store, at least, cryptographic. I forget what it's called now. Is it cryptographic now? Cryptozoic products. So no Peanuts, no 1776 cards, and no Invincible. He also mentioned how much demand he has for the what's that stuff called? The Bo Nix cards, man. The Bo Nix, not Bo Nix, Bo Knows, Bo Jackson cards, right? Bo Jackson. Arena Club. I'm mixing them up. Bo Jackson Battle Arena, not Arena Club by Bo Nix. Although, come on, that's pretty funny. There's just so much more non-sports card. My only difference, as I've been selling it and grading it, is that it doesn't. You don't sell. Well, that's not true. I sold some pretty big Gary V cards, but for the most part, most cards are like $50 to $20 to $100 cards once they're graded, if they grade well, which I again think was a sweet spot. And I also think to myself, this is why I think the hobby's growing a lot more, and people aren't really recognizing that. The other thing, Labubu cards. I got Labubu cards at PSA right now. I can't wait to get those back, dude. There are so many more like sports cards and collecting cards. Let's start like this. Collecting baseball cards used to be considered nerdy, right? The nerds did that. And then later on, some of the jocks got into it because they were collecting hockey and football because, they like the rough but for sports, you know, the baseball sports are more numbers oriented, I think, collector time or fans in some way. And then basketball took off just recently. In fact, I want to quickly point out I saw something yesterday talking about 2009 Curry cards and how there weren't many printed back then. I want to point out that back then, basketball cards in general were not doing well, right? And I also want to comment that back then, Topps Chrome was the main product in the market for basketball cards. Like there was no Panini products in 2009. Panini didn't come around, I think, to 2009, 2010. I think 2011 or 12 was their first product. I don't remember exactly. But my point to that is that it would be funny if, I would say funny. It would be sadly funny if the NBA never recovers under the Topps dynasty that Panini was able to build it into. I do think it will come back, but it's definitely still lagging as one of the more popular sports. I'd say football is probably the most popular. And then I'd put baseball as a second because it just seems to be consistently good, has a long history, heritage. It's just not going anywhere. And then I'd put basketball maybe third. But honestly, if I'm going to shake it all up again, I would probably put non-sports second. Second right now. For me, it's second. That doesn't mean football's always first, but to me, I'm looking at non-sports cards. I like non-sports cards. I like them a lot, which is why the grading numbers are up, which is why I think there's more money in the hobby. Now, I know the National did not have a lot of non-sports cards there, but I think it's supporting the market, right? I think people who are in the card industry are grading the Pokemon cards, or grading the non-sports cards, or grading the Gary Vee cards and stuff like that. And we're seeing that battle arena. Like, I think that market's only going to grow. I know I was listening to a video where like, oh, the TCG market's too full. There's no room for nobody else. It's dominated by, Magic and Pokemon. I will say this. I think people who don't know markets love to comment on them, because if you get in that space, Pokemon is very, very big. It's growing. The Magic is a niche space. You're not, in my opinion, you're not going to find your young kids playing Magic. They might be collecting. It's more of a teenage game, I think. I could be wrong. It's just my observations of what I've seen and participating. In fact, I'm going to go to a Pokemon tournament coming up here in my local area one of these Saturdays. I'm going to either grab one of my kids or one of my nephews and head over there and check it out. One thing I like to say quickly, I like to participate in the things that I talk about, right? So I'm not coming here talking about non-sports because I just read the pop counts of how they're grading more, Pokemon cards. I'm actually looking at what I'm doing and what I'm seeing, what I'm collecting, what my kids like. I got so many requests from my kids about more Pokemon, Pokemon, of course, and more non-sport cards. And that's what we're making. What's up, Orlando? Thanks for joining me. I always love to have you here. A couple other notes that I want to mention, because I don't think people caught up on this. But Joe, the guy, I'm looking for my drink. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, here it is. Remember Joe, baseball card guy down in Atlanta, partner with Jeff? Well, he just announced, I think it's called Cartoon Cards with a Z, Cartoon Cards with a Z.com. And it's kind of what, again, got me thinking about this. It is a website dedicated to cartoon cards. They're going to talk about products, sets, comps, all the things about it. He's mainly focused on cartoon cards, right? So like he's talking 80s and 90s cartoons. But again, I think of it as just another pillar in that non-sport empire that's growing. I love what he's doing, because I will say one area that I feel like there's not a lot of information on is the comps around non-sports. I don't use Market Movers or Card Ladder, but when I've seen people use them, they don't seem to have the greatest updated information. Most people seem to still be using eBay for comps. I'm wondering about historical data. In fact, another quick, side note I was thinking about is how important AI is in the hobby. I mean, I think everybody's using it, but no one's talking about it. But I do think AI is going to replace card pricing apps. Like, I don't know why I would keep paying for an app that's going to tell me what prices are stuff when AI is going to do that for me. I also think AI is going to do it. In fact, I saw people talk about this earlier. Help me track cards down, help me find cards that are for sale, help me search cards. I also think it would help with checklist, right? Under the checklist. Check out Fortnite. That's another one. Fortnite. Thank you, Brian. Fortnite, Minecraft. Those are two my kids are into as well. Fortnite cards. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned Fortnite, Brian, because I remember when season 1 of Fortnite, season 1 came out. My kids wanted to get some. We were going to get some. We did not. We used the budget to get sports cards instead. And one of my sons later on said to me, "That was a mistake, Dad." Of course, he says that later on when you see the price of Series 1 or Season 1 Fortnite cards. Now, to be honest, and I keep telling him, like, Chase, dude, you guys remember, we never would have kept the cards and kept them in the product sealed or stuff. We would have consumed them if we opened them. But that product has done very well. Minecraft has not done as well. In fact, another one I love is the Rolling Stones. It just makes me think to myself, are we on the verge of a new era? Are we going to see all those new card markets take off? Is there a market for example, guys? I've been watching Foundation on Apple TV. Love Foundation. I would love, as I watch shows nowadays. It's funny. I think to myself, that'd be a cool relic, or that'd be a cool autograph. It's so funny. For example, in the series Foundation, there's the Empire who rules the empire. The emperor rules the empire, but it's actually three people. There's called Dawn, Day, and Dusk. There's three people. They're clones, and they rule the empire. And I think to myself, that would make a great you try triple auto, right? You get all three actors as Cleon. One character, three actors. I don't know. It's weird how your brain thinks about this stuff. And also watching the Curry stuff, right? Watching Stephen Curry and these stickers that he just did makes me think to myself, why isn't someone made a pitch to Michael Jordan? I mean, I'm sure he gets them all the time, but Mike, as a fan, dude, you could make a product. Don't just do anything. Don't do something stupid. But again, you look at Bo Jackson Battle Arena, and you look at Gary Vee cards, and you look at Curry's in collaboration. Man, I would just love, and so would the rest of the world, if you just came out and made some type of card trading something. Please do it. Man, it would be awesome. I don't know why, but we love Michael Jordan. Fanatic supposedly got Fortnite license currently. Wow. That is very interesting. Another one, Brian, that I was thought about is that I think Netflix, right? You saw Netflix do the cards with Stranger Things, and I think that's a Netflix property. I think that Netflix has some ownership in that card. I'm thinking, like, again, a lot of series they could do cards with. Now, again, I'll say this too. I keep repeating myself. Is this something we're really going to want to have 10, 15, 20 years from now? Is it really going to be collectible? Is it a good piece of memory? I don't know. I think to myself, it would have been cool if they had back in the day, they had Three's Company cards, right? With Jack Ritter and all the different Three's Company. I don't say the wrong word. The different women who played the different actresses, right? Because there were several blonde women and there was the one brunette. I can't remember their names, which is terrible. But I remember John Ritter. But again, that'd be a fun freaking set, right? What if there was those sets? Maybe there is a set. Maybe there's love boats out there too. Anyway, my point is that I can tell you that I think sports cards are a very limiting word. Sports cards, right? Sports has grown so much. What's a sport? I don't know. I mean, there are things that are getting sports cards. In fact, here's how I know it's a sports card. When I submit it to PSA, whether it categorize it as non-sport or sport. For example, WWE is considered sport in PSA. I tried to submit them on my non-sports cards, and it considered it a sports card. And I was very, baffled by that. I was like, I thought it was not a sports card. But anyway, so I'm also thinking too, content-wise, guys. I found a channel the other day. God, what was it called? I should know this. And I'm going to make a video on some of these channels. And the guy was all about Pokemon, but it was interesting because he was about Pokemon and talking about repacks and the hobby. And it was just like, it was kind of like that episode of Seinfeld when you see kind of that other parallel universe where basically people just like your community are doing the same thing, but they're just a couple blocks down in a different community. So in Pokemon and in Magic, all those communities, there are more and more growing channels. In fact, I'll say this too. I think sports cards were kind of stagnant. There hasn't been a lot of change, a lot of innovation in sports card content. Maybe that's not the right word to say, but it's the same voices, I guess. Where again, they go to the Pokemon world or the Star Wars world. There's so many different voices, Marvel world, and they're a lot more friendlier voices too. They're happier. I don't think they're as invested as some of us are in the sports card world. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the rise of non-sports cards. Where are we going from here? Well, I'm going to make a submission right here today. I'm submitting these cards to PSA, and they are all non-sports. And then this weekend, I'm submitting another sports card offer. But I'll tell you, every time I put the sports card offer or orders together, I'm always stretching to get that 20 count minimum. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe.